Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Run.Down. I'm your host, Tyrese, joined by Schwinn. The Knicks lose in I want to say, frustrating game, to put it lightly, 105-95 to the Clippers. Not a lot to really take away. It was the first game without Jalen Brunson since January, and the Knicks looked like they missed Jalen Brunson. A lot of frustrating play on both sides, a lot of disorganization, and not a lot of positives to take out of this. Before we get into it, let's do the ad read. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selection of odds on everything from NBA and college basketball to NHL and UFC. BetOnline continues to be your number one sports betting source. From every three-pointer to hat trick, BetOnline has you covered with odds, stats, and more for every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. Schwinn, your thoughts on tonight's game?
A lot of thoughts on tonight's game. I would disagree that we didn't learn anything from this game other than that Jalen Brunson was out. I think we learned a lot from the fact that Jalen Brunson wasn't out. What was different about their game? Oh, here we go. My internet's going out. What was different about this game than we have played since January 1st? Nothing. Nothing is different. There's nothing different. Like, it's the same fucking shit every game. Defense was bad tonight. I don't even know. Totally, if I went back and watched, I thought it was okay. I think the effort has been a lot better the last couple of games defensively. I don't. That's hard for me to say right now, especially in the immediate aftermath of the game. I do think the effort was definitely better defensively, and that matters. That's important. That's relevant. So kudos to them for that. Offensively, I tweeted this out at halftime, and I stand by this because I just don't want to get it. I do not understand how, as a coach, and this will always be the most mind-boggling, nonsensical, fucking crazy shit to me about Tibbs as a coach, is this. Coming into tonight's game, at least based on Basketball Reference, 94% of Deuce McBride's minutes came as a shooting guard, which means he was playing next to either Jalen Brunson or Cameron Payne. If that's the case, which I think is correct, by the way, I think that is the correct. Would you say that's the correct decision for like what he profiles as a player?
Yeah, he's a wing. He's not a legitimate ball handler.
Right. I agree with that. So that's a perfect use of him as a player, at least in terms of what positions you're putting him in. So Tibbs is clear. Ball, combo guard, auxiliary wing, whatever fucking way you want to put it, he's correctly profiled him as that. So when Jalen Brunson is out, why is he starting point guard? Can small ever when he has Jalen Brunson and Cameron? This is a thing that happens when he has Jalen Brunson and Cameron Payne. Deuce McBride never plays point guard, but Jalen Brunson is out, so now the backup point guard stays the backup point guard, and then Deuce McBride becomes the starting point guard. That makes sense for what reason? Why does that make sense? How does that make sense? What does he do as a starting point guard to help the rest of the group? What does he do? He's a better defender than Jalen Brunson. I think we would both agree with that.
Yes.
Is that a significant difference? And is that a difference that matters as far as like the total group and playing 48 minutes a night? I don't think so. I think I would much rather have a Cameron Payne who can do stupid bullshit, of course, as we saw in this game, even, especially in the second half stint, but is able to get into the paint, run pick and rolls, distribute. I'd rather have that guy start in a lineup that doesn't have creators, that doesn't have advantage creators off the dribble, especially. I'd much rather have him start than Deuce McBride in that lineup. And you know, I don't get that. I don't get for what fucking reason he decided to close the end of the first quarter with Precious and Cat on the floor. Like, I have no, I genuinely, I can at least I'm saying this facetiously when I'm talking about Deuce McBride starting over a campaign. Like, I can at least kind of understand that one because it's just like, oh, Deuce is a better player. Okay, so I can at least grasp that part. I can never grasp why you're ever fucking playing Precious with Cat when you're shorthanded. And when basically every bit of evidence tells you that lineup sucks. I can't understand that. That lineup cost you 6 points at the end of the first quarter. This is what it ends up being, a 10-point game.
Yeah.
I mean, these are fucking margins that matter. These are margins that matter. And until you have a coach that treats 48 minutes like 48 fucking minutes and not like, oh, I love this lineup no matter what, but it's not good and this other lineup is better and they'll make up the difference and then we'll still win a lot. Like, I don't understand anything about what he did tonight. Not even from I think it was completely stupid perspective versus just how do you think this is the most optimal usage of the resources you have? And I don't want to hear about Brunson got hurt 24 hours ago, so he's playing on the fly. It's like, the guy's been the coach of this team for 5 fucking years. We knew. Were you surprised at all for 1 second? For 1 second tonight, were you surprised that Deuce McBride started?
No.
Would you have started Deuce McBride?
No. Not even me being a hater, I would have started the campaign.
I would have started campaign, and me and you disagree on Deuce McBride all the fucking time. That's my point. It makes no fucking sense. Nothing about what he is doing this season makes any fucking sense. You cannot tell me it makes sense to never play Deuce McBride at point guard. Okay? Never play him at point guard. Again, a decision both you and I, whatever our independent opinions of Deuce McBride are, agree with as what he profiles as a player. You cannot tell me that makes sense and then start him at fucking point when Brunson is out. That makes no fucking sense. Tell me how that fucking makes sense. Please tell me. Please fucking explain to me how that makes sense. Because it doesn't. You can't explain it because it doesn't make sense. It's that simple. It doesn't make sense. There's nothing else to say. It does not make sense. You cannot spend fucking 61, 62 games of the season, whatever the fuck it was, coming into tonight, profiling a guy as a combo guard, off-ball guard, whatever, and then being like, well, yeah, I did do that, but since Brunson's out, now you're the starting point guard. And you know what? I knew this was going to happen. I knew it was fucking stupid. And you know why it's dumb? The only other game that Brunson missed one game coming into tonight, right?
Yes, the game against Utah.
Yes, and who started that game? It was Campaign. Do you know why Campaign started that game?
Because Deuce McBride tweaked his hamstring.
In pregame warmups. Deuce McBride was supposed to start that game, which wouldn't have made sense then. But Campaign started that game.
This got played well.
Yeah, he played well. Played well with the starting lineup. It's a good game. Yeah, and I understand. Obviously, Utah, the Jazz, who are terrible at basketball, are not the same thing as the Clippers, who are good, but not playing extremely well right now. Not exactly the same thing. I get that. But Campaign does the things that you nominally would want in that lineup in place of Brunson. Not as well, obviously, because Jalen Brunson is the first team All-NBA player. But a thing that that you want from your starting point guard, getting into the paint, penetrate. It's okay. I know you're going to say some sicko shit, Tyrese, but
No,
penetrating.
I don't even have it in me today.
Penetrating, getting, and drawing attention and whatever, all those things. Obviously not as well as Jalen Brunson, but he can do those things nominally. It just doesn't compute to me. It does not compute to me that you can, as a coach, actually properly profile a player through 60 games of the season and then totally change what he is asked for because of an injury to your starting point guard. Like, it would make total sense to me to start campaign and then, all right, man, we got to use Deuce as a backup point. That's fine. That makes sense. Hey, you got to do it, right? Got to do it. How does it make sense to put Deuce McBride in the starting lineup as your point guard when nobody else in your lineup has any real, like, pick and roll juice, off the dribble, like shit we've talked about countless times on this post game? How does that make sense? It doesn't make sense. Like, put Campaign there, bring Deuce McBride off the bench. Deuce McBride can spell three positions, like not even three positions, but three different guys, right? Like, he can spell Mikal, he can spell Hart, he can spell OG. That's his value. That's his value. His value is that he gets you three different guys are able to rest more because Deuce can fill in for any of them alongside the other two. That's his fucking value. And yes, when Brunson is out, sure, you might need him to nominally play point guard for a few minutes a game. For however many minutes. I don't give a fuck how many minutes. I can understand that. What I cannot understand and what I cannot accept is this decision of I'm going to start him a point guard. And then you got a bunch of fucking scumbag, douchebag, fucking dick-sucking losers complaining. I mentioned, I thought Deuce McBride was going to fix everything. I'm sorry. Did I ever tell you that I wanted Deuce McBride to start a point guard? I don't remember that conversation. I don't remember the conversation where I was ever saying, Deuce McBride needs to take Campaign's minutes as the backup point guard. I don't remember those conversations. I know what conversations I have about Deuce McBride. I know exactly what I think about Deuce McBride. I know exactly what minutes and what value I think Deuce McBride has. And I'll tell you this, it has absolutely nothing to do with him running a fucking offense. Because as soon as we made the OG Anunoby trade, you know what happened? Me and you got on here, we talked on a live stream, and we talked about, man, this Knicks offense when Brunson says might be brutal. It might be fucking terrible. That's what we talked about. So I know for a fact I do not want Deuce McBride running a fucking offense. Okay, I know that. Because I don't think that's not his skill set. It's not what he's good at. It's not his best use of his attributes.
Yeah,
so I'm sorry. Like, do I think the Knicks win the game if they don't start Deuce McBride in the start campaign? No, I don't. I don't know. I do not know that. But do I think they have a better shot? Yeah, I do. Do I think they have a better shot if Deuce McBride spells different wing players over the course of a 40-minute game? Yeah, I do. Do I think Josh Hart needed to play 46 fucking minutes tonight? Do I think what did Mikal Bridges play today? 44? Is that right? Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, he played 42.
This is not me being a minutes police Nazi. I don't give a shit about that. Me and you, neither of us care a shit about that. That's not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is like you played these guys, like when you play these guys this many minutes, all right? When you play your starters this many minutes, I think it's okay to be like, why didn't you win the game?
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you win the game? And people are like, oh, well, Brunson's out. It's like, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, you played this game to fucking win it, and you played it to the max on the second night of a back-to-back. And you didn't fucking win it. You didn't come close. You fucking lost by 10 points, and it wasn't a competitive last 2 minutes. What are we talking about here? What are we doing here? Like, What the fuck was achieved in this game today? Did we learn anything about this team today? Nothing. We learned nothing. Oh, you know what we learned today? What I could have told you a year ago, 2 years ago, probably. Deuce McBride can't run point. That's what I learned today. Congratulations to us. We learned that. Awesome. Maybe one fucking day. I pray for this. I really want to say this because I'm gonna wrap up here on my diatribe here to start this fucking stupid ass post game. I one day really pray, Tyrese, that me and you come on a post game and we get to talk about this wonderful night where we got to experience, a team that traded for Karl-Anthony Towns and got to experience the beauty and the joy of a true 5-out offense. That's really like what I hope for one day. I don't know when that day is going to come. Maybe we're going to need, we're going to need a lot of hope, a lot of prayer will have to come into this to get this experience to come for us. But today is not that day, but I'm praying, man. I'm praying. I am summoning all of the higher powers to give us this experience, this joy of a 5-out offense. Because God fucking knows that no other team in the NBA could trade for Karl-Anthony Towns and play him 95% of the time in a lineup that gives you no fucking chance of playing a 5-out offense.
To be fair, that was the Wolves last year. But
they had a reason because Rudy Gobert was healthy and they need to play him with Gobert. Like if Mitch was healthy, I would understand it. I would get it. I'd be like, oh, okay, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, but they also played Jaden McDaniels and like.
But they also played Nasri. Come on, you know what the hell I'm talking about. Stop being a loser. You get.
Let me get Jaden McDaniels slander off, please. Like that was the goal here. Like you lobbed it up for me, and I'm trying to dunk it, and then you're not letting me dunk it, dude. I don't appreciate that. I just do not understand how you. Again, your point about like identifying roles for players and then just doubling back. That just does not make any sense to me. And we saw it with Precious. We saw it with Precious last year, where like Precious, he decided somehow that Precious was a 4, and common knowledge tells you that a guy who can't taste the floor is a 5. And I thought he would learn from that. And then this year, OG went down, and he decides Precious is a wing stopping 4, and that didn't work. And Precious had a good game, getting to play the backup 5, which is what he is.
He was actually really good tonight, I thought.
Yeah, he actually had some like self-creation takes that didn't make me cringe. I thought he played good in 16 minutes, and if I'm saying he played good, that means he played good because I hate his guts. Yeah, I do not understand any of the logic that went into this game. I get there's not a lot of levers to pull because Mitch is out as a back-to-back. And your other options are Beauchamp, DeLon Wright, and Anton Watson, which are just not options for you realistically. But I do think even with the pieces you have, you could try to look for ways to maximize whatever you do have.
You're actually allowed to. I know that this is like a foreign concept to a lot of Knicks fans, but like you're actually allowed to play lineups without a true center on the floor. It's like a real thing you're allowed to do. I know this is crazy, but like you're allowed to do that, especially when fucking who's that fucking dipshit loser backup center they had on the floor?
Eubanks didn't even play in the second half.
Yeah, because he sucks ass. Because he's fucking terrible. Like you're actually allowed to play without a center on the floor when a fucking dipshit loser, fucking scumbag piece of shit like Dylan or whatever the fuck his name is, Dylan Eubanks. Fuck him, Eubanks. Is on the floor. You're actually allowed to do that. You're allowed to do that. But you wouldn't know that because for 4.5 years or 5 years now, basically at this point, Tom Thibodeau has been our coach, and he's married to always having a 5 on the floor, which I don't actually hate as a concept as long as your 5 is an actual value add piece and gives you an advantage or is the optimal advantage. Like when we had iHeart and Mitch, Yeah, you know what? It made sense to have a 5 on the floor at all times. Probably. Like, and even then, yeah, were there situations where we would get mad, like, hey, God, I would wish Tibbs would go 5 out here. Sure. But you
couldn't really blame him. You couldn't blame him. Like
you couldn't blame you could at least understand it because Randall was so suboptimal as a 5. Cat, for all his deficiencies as a 5, he's not Randall, man. Like, he can play the 5 productively. We've actually done it. You know why I know that? Because we have won his minutes by far and large this season. That's why I know that. Like, despite his bullshit, we have won his minutes by far and large this season. So you can't sell me on that. Can't sell me, oh, you gotta have fucking true rim protector on the floor at all times. Like,
Precious not even a rim protector. Like that's the problem. It's where does the production from these minutes come? It's not offensively and it's not defensively. So then what does he do? He's just there like soaking up minutes for whatever reason, and that just does not make any sense to me. Like, congratulations, you got 60 minutes out of Precious, and you got a good game out of him, and it didn't even matter.
He's not a needle mover. It's not a needle, like, you got 22, like, and I again, like, well, I'm sure everybody, like, I don't know what people are going to say in the comments, to be fair. I can't say that tonight. But, like, I am so sick and tired of talking about what players didn't do, what this guy didn't do. It. What is the coach doing to put these guys in positions to succeed? Like, what is happening to optimize these players? Because I don't know how your decision. I don't know what world you come into this game being like, well, to get the offense rolling, Deuce has to start a point. I don't get that. Like, I just don't. And I never will, because I like Deuce McBride a lot. He's not a point guard. He's not an initiator. He never draws two to the ball. He never gets into the paint and collapses it and forces help. Like, that's not what he is. It's not what he is. Like, you have to understand what your players are. And he does understand. This is what's so crazy. He's like, he does understand what Deuce is when he has Brunson and he has Campaign together. But when Brunson's out, all of a sudden, okay, no, Deuce McBride's starting point guard now. It doesn't make any sense. Like, I can't. I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry to harp on this, but it's so fucking ridiculous. I can't understand it. I cannot understand it. I'll never understand it. All right. Let's get some comments, I guess. AB says Josh Hart pissed me off more than usual tonight. I don't know what to say about Josh Hart. I thought he played. Again, this to me is another game where Josh Hart played a great game for me for what he is. Like, this is a great Josh Hart game. But because you didn't have Jalen Brunson to bail out some stuff and your offense struggled, his limitations get laid bare. But this to me isn't about it's not about Josh Hart. And yeah, I mean, look, that turnover he had at 90 to 85, brutal turnover. I mean, that's a brutal turnover. Gets a rebound, pushes it up for no reason, has no advantage, turns it over. Clippers get a 3. I mean, that was basically game. I thought that was game. I don't know what you thought, but I was like, when they made that 3, I was like, yeah, there's no way the Knicks come back here. Like, I get that frustration, but he played 46 minutes tonight. If you put the guy out there 46 minutes, he's gonna make a fucking stupid play here and there. Like, I can't put that on him. That's like, he's a 30, 32, 35 minute a night player who's getting treated like he's fucking
LeBron.
Yeah, exactly. Like he's LeBron. And it doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I just can't fault a lot of these dudes because they're just being overextended in ways that they're not made to be overextended in, and they're not being optimized. And it sucks because like you have to do more and you're being asked to work with less. And that's just a hard predicament for a lot of these guys to be in. Yeah, like Brian is having to run offense. OG Anunoby is having to take self-created shots for whatever reason.
Yo, thank God he didn't slip tonight, though. You got to give him props. The Skechers came in clutch tonight.
Yeah, he didn't slip. He actually had like a decent rip through move. I was shocked. Like OG Anunoby with a rip through move is like finding water in a desert. Like it just when it happens, you thank the Lord and you go about your day. But like, don't expect to see another rip through move from OG Anunoby for like the rest of the year. But yeah, it just was not productive. Nothing that no lineups that the Knicks really ran were like productive, aside from that stretch in like the second quarter where they were able to like close the lead because Precious Achiuwa went on the heater. It's just so hard for them to generate good looks from offense, and it also doesn't help that they're not optimizing their spacing. So at least you could try to make the looks easier. It's hard looks and bad spacing. It's just a hard combo to come back from.
Yeah, I agree. I want to get to these two comments in a row. This from Kenny Muir. Towns' numbers against top 10 defenses is awful. He's too predictable, and the team doesn't run anything to make it easier for him. What I would say is I think the predictability is part of why he's been awful against some of these top 10 defenses. And I think the lack of defined structure in what you're asking of him. Like, I think he has too much freedom almost. And this is how I feel about a lot of players. And I know it's weird because I kind of like am talking out of both sides of my mouth here. Like, oh, this guy doesn't get to do much. But like freedom in terms of when he has the ball, what he's allowed to do, what his choices are, they're not clear cut. They're not defined. I don't think he has guardrails on him. And he's a talented enough player where against a lot of teams that doesn't matter. You know, you don't need to give him guardrails against the fucking Pacers or something. He can just dominate a game like that. But against, to the point being made here, against an elite defense, some of those things get laid bare. And then what I also think is a problem is like you're also consistently playing in lineups where there is at least one guy on the floor the defense absolutely doesn't respect as a shooter. So you post him, and he's already not like he's not like a great. He doesn't see the floor that well. He doesn't feel pressure that well. He doesn't pass out of pressure that well. So you're already kind of like putting him in a position to fail. I don't know. I get the cat stuff, but I will also say is that like I'm not really into cat criticism for the next couple of days anyway. I think the fact that he's even on the floor for these guys right now is commendable, given what he's going through right now. So I get the cat criticism. I think it's fair. I'm personally not going to delve into it too much tonight, I guess. Just because I think that the fact that he's here for these guys right now speaks a lot to like what he is as a player.
Yeah. I also just think that I don't know why he just doesn't access the space anymore. And I think, again, that just comes back to the Tibbs thing because Tibbs somehow longs through Julius Randle initiation reps. And he plays cat like light-skinned Julius Randle, and that's just not how that's supposed to work. I think he just watches Minnesota tape and he's like, we used to have that. Oh, we used to have that. And then Julius like spins and then turns it over and he's like, we used to have that too. Yeah, the 3-point attempts are down. The post attempts are up. Those should be inversed. They're not. There's just so much wrong that I can go into, and I don't want to go into it at 12:30 at night. But yeah. I mean, I will say there seemed to be a concerted effort to get Mikhail going, which was really good. He had probably the most aggressive game I've seen him play all year, and he's scored 30 points multiple times. Like there was at least purpose in his drives, at least in the first half. I thought he played really well offensively.
I thought he played really well defensively too.
I thought he gave them as much as he could. Ideally, you want to see him take more threes. Again, the 3-point attempt rate is an issue. Like Mikhail's scared to take threes above the break. Josh Hart's scared to take threes in general. OG Anunoby is being forced to take above the break threes, and to his credit, he's actually been pretty decent on them. But it's also like, why is OG Anunoby pulling up from 27 feet? Everything just looks so disjointed right now. And I don't think that coaching has been helping this team at least try to get into some easy sets to create easy offense. And I think that's the root of my issue with Tibbs. It's just he doesn't make the game easier for anybody. He doesn't make it so that like a guy can come in and no matter what, that guy is going to be at least optimized to the best of his ability. It's, hey, Jalen Brunson, you're going to play with 3 non-shooters and you are a top 7 player in the game, so you're going to make it work. Hey, Karl-Anthony Towns, you're going to be playing with bad spacing and no creation alongside you. Make it work. Figure it out. Oh, OG Anunoby, you're going to be taking pick and roll reps from the top of the key when it's like that's not your game. It's a consistent effort towards fucking up. And I just cannot wrap my head around it.
I think it's pretty simple. He's always focused on nullifying the opposition versus maximizing his advantages.
Yes.
Like that's what it is. And his view on nullifying the opposition is always predicated on having more size on the floor. Like that's what it is. It's pretty simple. Like that's what it is. And it's not correct all the time or a lot of the time and whatever. All right, going on more comments. Tay212, Kawhi was our best player tonight. Complete ass class. Thoughts? Want to see Mikal more aggressive. Kolek may need minutes. We need a playmaker. Cat may just sit if the knee is bothering him. Clips are NFL dead. I don't know where this Cat need thing is. I know where it's coming from. It's from this random tweet that Han put out, right? He wasn't on the injury report tonight at all. Like not questionable, not probable, nothing. He wasn't listed at all. He was not listed the game before he missed because of his personal issues. I don't fully understand it. It doesn't look to me like he's suffering with his knee because he's moving in space on switches as well as I think I've seen him move all year. Like he's moving fine. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Han is onto something, but I don't fully agree with that. As far as Mikal, like, yeah, I agree. He needs to be more aggressive. How many shots did he take tonight? 12? Is that right?
Yeah.
Like, he's got to take more shots. I get that. But he's also a player, and I hate to sound like I'm making excuses for him. But, like, to me, he is not a player that just takes the game by the scruff of its neck and just, I'm going to get my shots off no matter what. I think he's a player you've got to actively work into what you're trying to do. And if you don't, he's going to float and like he's going to hang out. He's not going to try and dominate the ball. He's not going to try and take control of the game. That's not what he is. It's not what he is. It's just not what he is. You got to really.
You're saying he's not an alpha.
Yeah, I've always said that.
He's not a bus driver. He's a bus rider.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, yes. Just making sure we're on the same page. Yeah, I mean I agree. Hey man, we gotta work the chemistry. Gotta work on chemistry, dude. Also, I am delirious and tired. Yeah, I just like he had a good game, and I'm still feeling like there's still more on the table. But it's also like, how do you get him to eat? And that's the real.
And I also don't see a lot of what we're doing to like even get him going. Like I don't think much was done tonight to be like, oh well, Brunson's out there really lean into Mikal. Like I don't see that. To me, a lot of this game today is still just a lot of like go get the ball and make it happen type stuff from a lot of guys. And that's an issue. Like, I don't know what, like, we can sit here and talk about, well, we don't have guys that can create off the dribble, and like, it's fine. Okay. It's a reality. What are you doing to adjust for that? Because it didn't look like much. I didn't see much adjustment to any of that. Like, you're not optimizing spacing. You're not optimizing even spacing at a very, very basic level. Like, just at that level, you're not even doing that, which is the most basic thing you can do, right? Like, okay, well, we don't have a great ball handler creator. Let's try and get the most space on the floor that we can get. You're not even doing that. Not even doing that. So, I don't know. Thank you for the comment. Kevin Danishevsky says, I love Josh Hart. We've got to stop treating him like he's the best player on our team. 46 minutes in his hesitancy entails 0 minutes of 5 out. I mean, I do agree with this. Like, he can play a lot of minutes, but 46 is fucking insane, man.
Yeah, I cannot understand the idea that Josh Hart essentially needs to play the entire second half. Like, I don't understand what Josh Hart provides that you're like, oh, I need this for 46 minutes. Like, I get it. He's a very handsome man. But, like, I don't think he's so handsome to the point where you need to play him every second of a half.
His braids aren't even looking that good anymore.
Okay, whoa. That man just got his braids done for his birthday. Let him be happy.
My job. That's Shannon's job.
Okay. I also think the biggest indicator of Tibbs being a loser is that Bridges got way more ball handling touches and had a good offensive game. I thought the offense not really generating any threes for him. I mean, yeah, like, where the fuck was this the entire season? Like, you just suddenly decided, okay, I can actually, like, take steps to the rim, and I'm 6'6", and I have the ability to, like, stride.
But it's like he, because now he feels like, oh, Brunson's not here, so I have that freedom. Like, I have to do it, right? And it's like, that's my issue. It's like, why is it that you can never get any of these guys working together at a high, like, the last time I feel like these guys all worked at a high level was what, like the fucking Memphis game?
Yeah. Either the Memphis game or, like, the Sacramento game.
Yeah, and it's been nothing since then. And, like, honestly, since the turn of the year, like, since, you know, great President Trump came into the office, it's been a fucking shit show. So is Doge responsible for that?
You're telling me this entire team was just bleeding liberals and they're still reacting.
Is Doge destroying Mikal? Let's talk about it.
How does President Trump plan to fix the Knicks in his first 100 days in office?
He came here. Deuce is a caretaker and spacing the floor. I agree. I mean, that's what he can do. That's it. Like, there's nothing else to what he can do than that. I don't have an issue with McBride starting. In fact, I encourage it. But if you do, your offense can't be Deuce walk the ball up the floor and wait till 14 seconds to do anything. Let Mikal Hart run point.
Please don't let Mikal run point at any point of his life.
I don't know if he needs to run point, but I do think you need to get into action. Like, yeah, I this is where it's tough though. And this is where, like, I do, but, like, this is why I wouldn't start Deuce. Deuce is not somebody that's going to come up and instinctively, like, do something. He's going to come up and be like, okay, I brought the ball up across half court, guys. Let's get everything organized right now. It's like he's still running a college offense, like a 30-second offense. Got 24 seconds, pal.
Yeah. Also, like, that's why Hart starts, because Hart as a connector, like, purely as a connector, makes the lineup have playmaking that it would not have otherwise, because Mikal isn't there, OG is definitely not there, and Cat is there, but he's not somebody who you could consistently rely on for playmaking. So that's why Josh Hart essentially starts, because, like, they need his playmaking and they need his rebounding. They honestly, like, sometimes need his hustle and his ability to create opportunities for scoring. I mean, I think I would probably just lean into that again with campaign. Get somebody who's like willing to take the wacky threes that nobody else in this team really except for Brunson takes. Get somebody who can actually get some run a pick and roll and like pass out of the pick and roll. That's why it's frustrating to me to see someone like Deuce be put in a position where he's just not being given the resources to succeed. He has to run offense, but then like Josh Hart is in the half court and he already struggles to get to his spots. You're gonna make it even harder for him. It's mind-boggling to me.
Me and you both. Kenny Muir advocating for more than 15 minutes for campaign. I'll never get behind. You don't want campaign involved like this. I just disagree with this take.
Respect Turbo.
This
Not
is
recently, but respect Turbo.
But it's also like not really about him. It's more about like putting guys in the best position possible. And I'm sorry, like starting Deuce doesn't do that. And maybe campaign starting wouldn't do that either, but the Knicks seem to consistently win his minutes. I think today played a bad game. They were neutral though. Like in his minutes, I think it was 0. Doesn't mean anything. Not saying he played well again. But like you gotta give him a chance. Like you're not giving him a chance as far as I'm concerned. I just don't think he's getting a real chance. And I don't think, and it's not just him. I don't think Shannon's getting a real chance. I don't even consider what the hell Deuce got tonight a real chance. I think it's like a disservice to Deuce.
I thought Shannon was getting a real chance, and I was like, what the
Shannon's probably getting a real chance. couple of chances from the evidence I've seen.
All right, buddy. All right.
But like I'm not I don't think campaign is fucking fantastic or something. But I do know that the one game that he started over, that he happened to start, they played really well on offense. Not saying that's because of him. Just saying, maybe there's something there. As far as a stopgap option, they're not going to be great offensively without Brunson. We know that. But you've got to try to be as good as you can while also maintaining defensive balance. And it's really hard for me to reconcile like if Tibbs believes the campaign is nothing more than a 12 to 14 or 15 a night, at most sub bench guy, that's fine. I actually think it's probably right. It's probably like his best role. He also just does weird things like play Precious, 40 minutes on random nights, or tonight, like for no apparent, like for literally no reason, just playing him with Cat to close the first quarter, in which the Knicks hemorrhaged a 6, like they gave up 6 points. Didn't score, they scored 6, and they gave up 6 points. Like, I don't know. It's hard for me to reconcile all of that.
Yeah. I mean, I think campaign is good in spurts. It's just giving him extended minutes, especially when he's been slipping the way he has, is questionable. Jordan Bub, Josh Hart with a career high 20 rebounds. Hart is now among the top 50 Knicks all time in rebounds, passing the trails pretty well. The fact that he already has like over 1,400 is crazy. But yeah, I mean, control the boards.
Yeah, I didn't know why they were like people were whining about like the rebounding stuff. I was like, they won the glass tonight actually, on both ends, defensive and offensive.
It just the offensive rebounds always like led to extra threes, and it was just
they cashed them and we didn't.
Yeah,
I mean, ultimately that's what the game came down to. Like I'll put it. I guess the way I'll put it is like I didn't think Tibbs got out coached, but I don't think he coached well.
Yeah.
Like I don't think Ty Lue was running rings around tonight, but I also don't think Tibbs did anything to like seriously win the game. Like he didn't create advantages for his team with his choices. And again, I thought the Precious Cat stuff at the end of the first quarter was. I have no idea why he did that. I don't get it at all. And sure, you can look at those 2 threes they made and be like, oh, well, you know, they're tough threes. It's like, yeah, but you didn't even give yourself a chance on offense because you're playing him and Hart together, and we already know how that works. And that's what, like, we've seen that already not work with Brunson running point. We need more evidence of that with Deuce running point. Like, come on, man. Nobody needs to do that. HB Greg, I used to think this was the best team we had in the last 20 years and just be appreciative. Now I realize I'm mad at Tibbs for the same things at Tibbs now that it was when we were a 500 team. He changes nothing to accommodate the talent he has.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, still the best team that I've seen in my lifetime, but the bar is also like hell. And yeah, like it definitely feels like as talented as they are and for as good as they have been this season, it still kind of feels like there's a lot of meat on the bone in terms of optimization, in terms of putting guys in the right spots, in some aspects in terms of roster construction. I do feel like a lot of the macro decisions that have been made, for regards to like lineups and play and the ability to get guys in the right spots have been lacking. Especially which is a contrast compared to last year where I feel like Tibbs hit basically all the right buttons. So
yeah. Trying to zoom through these as best I can. Tay 2 and 2. You play 5 out. Josh Hart doesn't shoot. You're not really playing 5 out then.
Yeah, like you're playing 4 out and one guy who's running HV dive. I don't know if you've seen the nickname trend on Twitter, where like the anomaly, and now everybody's like creating nicknames. This course calling Josh Hart the pump faker. I like the pump faker. I like the DHO. Yeah, that's Josh Hart. You're not running the 5 out with Josh Hart.
Yeah. Kenny Mir, first 2 possessions of the game. Cat loses Zubac under basket. Cat forces a drive and turns it over. Cat gets beat by Zubac down court for a layup. Too many unserious moments from Cat. Look, I don't think Cat is perfect, and I don't think he's great. I just think he gets. Is Cat really why we lost this game? Like, I'm not even saying it's not the case. I'm asking a question. I don't know. Like, is Cat why we lost the game? Is Cat why we lost the Lakers game? Because these are games that the defense was good in. And if you can tell me, if you can argue with me that we put Cat in advantageous positions offensively, I'm ready to hear that. But I don't feel that way at all. I think we don't do much to put Cat in good positions offensively. And I think that actually leads him to some of the weird, awful threes he's been taking the last couple of games. He's jacking up threes where it's like, I got to get the shot up. I don't know. I mean, I don't disagree. I mean, it was a terrible sequence start of the game, for sure, from him. But it's kind of like a guy that's leading your team in plus minus, and even tonight, I think tonight was he one of the better plus minus guys? I don't know if he was.
All the bench guys were a plus minus plus, and all of the starters were plus minus.
All the Steiners. Let me tell you, Mike. All the stars are plus minus.
The emphasis on the second minus is always so fucking funny. Plus minus. Like he's surprised he's saying it twice.
I mean, I'm not the biggest Cat guy, so I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I need to be.
You're a dog.
I'm more of a dog guy. I'm more of a dog guy, but I have a hard time coming down too much on Cat when we know what he's gone through the last couple of nights or been through the last however long. I don't know whenever. things have been going on for him, but for a little while. And, I don't think he was the biggest problem the Knicks had tonight. I really don't. I think they had a lot of other problems that had nothing to do with him. And they're not leveraging what he can provide properly, as far as I'm like, you have a center that can bring the center out of the paint, but you don't play him in lineups where that occurs because you play him 90% of the time with Josh Hart, and teams are happy to put their center on Josh Hart. And, around and around it goes, but it's tough for me. I don't have a real answer for that.
Yeah.
Some Jordan Bubb, I don't know who quoted this, but we have more than enough. We need to find a way to get it done. Coach Thibodeau and playing without Jalen Brunson after the loss to the Clippers by his post-game press conference.
Tom Thibodeau has the same mindset as me in the club at 2 a.m. when like nobody talks to me. Versus,
I got more than enough.
He's like, you know what? I'm not the problem. Everybody else is the problem. Nobody's putting in the work. And you're just like, you know what? Another vodka cran. Just get back out there. Just buy another round. It'll work this time. I'm kidding, by the way. Please, I do not do that.
I think you do that.
Okay, but yeah, it just like if you don't think it's the players, then it's the coaching. Like you're saying it's the coaching, and if it's the coaching, then coach. There's got to be a fault in some aspect, and if you're saying you have enough in terms of personnel, then it's coaching.
Yep. Not much else to say than that. Whole team oralist without this from Retro. Whole team oralist without Brunson. A bunch of Brunson merchants. I hate this team, dog.
Respect Demon Delon on the bench.
Cat logo 3 down 7. He is a meme player. I mean, that was a terrible shot. I don't know what to tell you. If you hate this team, that sucks, but go for it. Tay 2 and 2. I do think Cat is trying to change the narrative on himself. Unfair rep to an extent. I don't really have thoughts on this. Interesting comment. Just go look at the game tonight. If not, why didn't they private jet the game earlier? No, he was not at the game tonight.
He was playing in Austin.
I don't know. I mean, I would have rather had him on the fucking floor than not at a point. I mean, I would have done a lot of things different in this game.
Would you have unleashed the Dadier?
I would have. No, it's talking about that. It's just like, why are we the only team in the NBA that never plays? Like small. Never plays small. Never has the idea of like, let's just go 5 out here and see what happens. Let's just see what happens. Never. There's never that thought process. There's never that concept. There's never that risk willingness to take. Like, not once, not ever.
Like, the last risk he took was legitimately putting Deuce in and running, like, 4 guards and Iheart. That was his big risk last year. And it worked. It worked.
And it wasn't a risk. It was like you took fucking Precious out, bro. Congrats.
Yeah, I know, but it was also, like, for Tibbs, it was the fact that he was running 4 guards who were sub 6'4" and under. And it was like, oh my god, Tibbs like is relying on the fact that spacing matters. And it worked, and it's like just spaced lineups that have advantage creation and allow your best players to flourish. It should not be as hard as I'm making it sound, but apparently for this team it is.
All right, I got it. SM. Cat is as athletic as Symbol are. Like, can we be real here for a second? Really? As somebody who would love Symbol to be good at basketball, no, we're not doing this. Cat is about like we're focusing on Cat. like what is the focus on Cat? Like we're just saying like Cat's not Cat is like Cat is gonna be an all NBA player, by the way. It's gonna happen. And he's gonna deserve it. So this idea that Cat is some fucking god awful albatross of a player who we would be better off without is absurd. Like, I don't understand this at all. I really don't. I do not get this. Like, I don't get how we went from like Cat deserved all-star starter to Cat is actually the worst part of this team. I don't understand it. And I think what is happening is people are allowing the way he's been used and the way that we have defended the pick and roll this year to justify this opinion.
Yeah. Again, he's still good. Like, he's clearly a top 15 player this year. He's slumping, but also it coincides with the fact the team has been slumping. And again, I don't think the coaching is doing him any favors right
now. Yeah, I did an hour and whatever the fuck yesterday, so I'm trying to get to as many of these things as I can. We can close out here. Jordan Bob said this. Tibbs, first game, he'll get his rhythm. Deuce can do it. I've seen him have huge games at the point. I have a lot of confidence in his abilities. What fucking huge games has Deuce had at running point? Like, I'm not even saying I like Deuce. I really do. I like him a lot more than fucking Tyrese. I don't remember a game that I can recall where he started a point and was like, oh, huge game. Fucking monster performance.
His rookie year, he had like 15 and 9.
Think about what you just said.
I know. That's the point.
I don't get it.
Oh my god. He said first game he'll get his rhythm. Brother, you have not played him at point all year.
But this is it. Now he can do it. Now we can do it. We're gonna practice so hard in these next few days, dude. We're gonna practice so hard.
Dude, and the worst part is like he actually has spacing on the court. When he plays with Mitch, it's gonna be a clusterfuck.
Oh man.
All
right.
You can hear the pain in my voice.
All right. We can get to more comments, but we don't need to. I'm sorry we didn't get to as many as we usually do. This game sucked, just like a lot of games in recent past of this Knicks team have sucked. And Jalen Brunson being injured sucks. Tyrese, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
No. This was a game. This was a game, and it happened. And hopefully it's a better game on Monday.
Hopefully it's a better game on Monday. I'm so happy the Knicks can't ruin my weekend.
They'll find a way. They'll find a way.
I'm so happy they can't ruin my weekend. I want to plug hopefully the Bills trade for Trey Hendrickson. That's my plug. Other than that, I got nothing. Thank you to everybody that left us comments. Thank you for all your guys' support. Couldn't do this without you. Yep, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. That'd be a huge help to us. All right, everybody, enjoy your weekend sans the Knicks. We will be back on Monday after the Knicks play the Kings at some ungodly hour, and we'll have some ungodly hour post-game show. It'll be fantastic. But until then, me and Prez will be recording our pod on I don't know when. I don't know. Sometime tomorrow afternoon, some shit like that. I don't know. You gotta ask Prez. We'll do it then. It'll be awesome, and we'll give you guys a weekend pod. All right, that's our show for today. Thank you to our sponsor, Bet Online. Thank you again for everybody for the comments, and we'll see you on Monday night. Peace.